Yesterday we were discussing how by not allowing the high level discipline, the practice of the high discipline to be developed, enhanced and practiced is what should be practiced or not practiced, what should be developed or not developed, what should be given, what should be made to happen is not made to happen. These are bhavetava dhammas, things to be developed. If one does not develop it, one does not allow it to happen, in other words, one is failing to practice this, to develop it, then one is said to be heedless in a subtle way, and the opposite of that is heedfulness in a subtle way. If one practices, what should be practiced? If one develops, what should be developed? Then you are said to be heedful in a subtle way. In this connection, we also discussed in the course of our talk that if one practices continuously with the exertion of energy, meticulously, then one becomes a real yogi, a dedicated yogi. Today, we should like to discuss in this connection what yogi means and what are the signs, what are the activities or signs of yogi, only what are the things that yogi should do, and in this connection we shall describe about yogi. What is a yogi? This yogi is a compound Pali word, a compound of two words, namely yoga and e. Such a combination is yogi. Now the meaning of yoga: exertion, exerting, practicing, striving. In brief, in essence, it is virya, energy. If one has not studied or learned the correct method, the techniques of practice, or if one has not undertaken the practice, then one will not be able to arouse these wholesome mental states, namely Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. All these mental powers will not happen. So only when you do it in a correct method, suitable method, only when you are able to exert energy with the power of faith and confidence, faith about the truth, Saddha, and practicing without regard for your body and life, at the risk of body and life, in the practice of high level discipline, and also the energy, heroic energy, to be able to abstain from unskillful deeds and practice skillful deeds. This is omission and commission. One should have the power of such omission and commission. And the power of applying your mindfulness sati continuously excuse me, as regards every arising object in your body and mind, so that you are able to concentrate your mind on that object, note it. Thus, with the deepening of concentration, thus you are able to discern mind and body and cultivate insight, beginning with the discernment of mind and body in stages, progressing along the path until you come to realize the ultimate truth, ultimate peace, beyond the arising and passing away of conditioned psychophysical phenomena. So you should have this power, mental powers, to overcome or to refrain from akusala, dukkha, immoral deeds, and practice moral deeds. You should detest and fear these immoral deeds, and also detest and fear the consequences of such immoral deeds. If one has not practiced systematically, correctly, then these powers will not arise as yet. They will lie dormant in your mind. They will be hidden in your mind. They won't become obvious. They will not become apparent in you. So you have to make it apparent. You have to make it appear. You have to make it obvious. You have to arouse it by practicing and developing exertion of energy. Now when you exert, when you practice, there are two things that you practice. One is Dhamma and Adhamma. Adhamma and non-Dhamma. There can be also this power of Dhamma and power of non-Dhamma. Here we're talking about the power of practicing the Dhamma. Knowing the technique of practice, the correct method of the Dhamma which is uplifting, which uplifts your conduct, your life, instead of lowering it. So you should have the power of developing this uplifting Dhamma. This Dhamma will uplift your life instead of lowering your life. Such correct method, such a practice is known as Dhamma. So in order to arouse this Dhamma, let it happen, you got to exert your energy which is lying dormant or hidden in you, and they have to be practiced and developed. Such is the practice of the Dhamma. And when you are practicing, you should exert with heroic energy, that is virya, in this commission and omission. Commission, practicing these wholesome, skillful deeds, and omission, abstaining from unwholesome deeds. So when you are involved in this omission and commission, you should not have regard for your body and life. You should take risks without regard to your body and life, not to be afraid of pain or death even. There should be this heroic energy, virya. It is quite essential in the practice. And such is yoga, exertion, developing practice with heroic energy. And E means possessing. So when you combine these two together, yogi, you become the possessor of exertion, possessor of practice. So when you come to possess this, you come to possess this exertion. Hence the name yogi. Yogi practices meditation in an ordinary way, normal way. Though yogi is practicing in this way, one needs to do it with the exertion of the three stages of energy. Namely, first we have arambha dhatu, the initial launching energy. As yogis come to the retreat and begin to practice, first of all study satipatthana, learning this method, and sit down, pay attention to the abdomen, watch rising and falling, exert energy to watch, to note rising and heavy rising and falling. That is initial launching energy, so as to be able to note continuously. Energy to drive the noting mind towards the object, so that the noting mind reaches the object. That is the kind of energy. This is initial energy. This has to be done for every rising and falling. When it falls also, at the moment of falling, you just exert your energy so that your noting mind notes the object without missing it, and such is initial energy. So every time rising and falling takes place, or every time other obvious objects takes place, arises, then you have to build up this energy. You are still in the stage of initial launching energy. And in order to be able to note continuously, in a sustained manner, you practice this, exert this energy every moment of the practice. Then you come to possess such energy, and hence the name Yogi. In walking meditation also, you pay attention to your foot and note every lifting, moving and placing, so as not to miss them, exerting your energy. So this is application. This is again the initial launching energy, and the same thing goes with other objects as they arise, such as bending, stretching, lifting, moving, or even to the extent of closing and opening your eyes. You just exert your energy to note, not to miss them. And also initially, you should have a vow, determination, that I won't miss any object. That kind of determination should be there. You should be determined to do it, such as yoga. And the same thing goes with the general objects. You exert your energy. When you come to possess such kind of energy, you become yogi. Now, when you are doing exerting energy, if you are not able to sustain your energy, then your mindfulness also will not be sustained. Then you will not become a yogi. You will be just a nominal yogi. Yogi by name. You may be possessing this energy, but you are yogi by name. You are possessing initial launching energy, but if you are not doing continuously, not sustaining, then you are just nominal yogi. And leave aside those objects which miss unavoidably, though you are determined previously, beforehand, but at least you should make a vow not to miss any object, and just exert your energy. Then you will grasp as many objects as possible. Then as much as you are able to grasp these objects, when you are able to know the objects, then you become yogi. So while practicing, in the course of the practice, there may arise this laziness, lack of energy, tanti, which can arise in the course of the practice. This is your enemy within, close enemy. So especially for those who have lived a comfortable life, when they are confronted with such difficulties, with such painful situations or laziness, they tend to withdraw from this practice. The energy might go down and do not wish to exert energy. Instead they become exhausted, then become lazy. Then this laziness will overwhelm you, so that you will not be able to enhance your energy, apply or exert the second stage energy. And if you become exhausted, if you tend to give up, then your initial launching energy, which you have possessed previously, might also go down and lose momentum. Like a tree. When you start planting a tree, You got to take care in watering and so on. Otherwise it will die soon. So also with the initial energy. If you don't sustain it, then this initial energy also will die off. If you don't practice at the risk of your body and life and overcome your laziness. For in order to do that, you got to enhance your energy, such as Nekama Dhatu, the liberating energy to overcome difficulties and laziness. Such as enhancing, boosting up your energy. And then this also is not enough. You have a set goal or target, and you must sustain your energy in order to reach your goal or target. So you have to continue it until you are able to attain the real peace, at least. So to that end, you must sustain your energy. To note every arising object and sustaining your energy, progressing along the path. This is the energy to reach the goal, to step up energy in stages to reach the goal. And such, this third stage of energy is Parakama Dhatu, energy to reach the goal. When you come to possess these three stages of energy, then you become a real. This is yoga, and when you possess it, you become a yogi. Hence the expression Yogda Payogda Daya Yogi. Yogi is called as such because he or she is in possession of initial launching energy, the liberating energy to overcome laziness and difficulties, and the energy in stages to realize the goal. Such is the answer to the question, what is a yogi? Because one becomes a yogi or come into possession of this exertion or practice yoga, what is the benefit? What is the motive behind it? That is the question. That's why this bhavanaya, expression bhavanaya, is given in the beginning. When we say bhavana, we just say bhavana, meditation, but this is not just enough. This such a connotation is not enough. Developing pure state of mind, developing a clear mind, developing a high stage of mind. Make it develop. Make the mind pure, make the mind clear, clarify the mind, purify the mind, develop the mind in stages in order to see the truth. That is the aim of bhavana. So to do that, one has to block the path to unskillfulness, akusala, block the path to kilesas, negative emotions. You must close the door to these akusala and kilesas, and keep the way open the way towards purity of mind and insight. For that, you exert energy in order to note every arising object, beginning with the main object of rising and falling, with sustained energy. One after another, continuously, closing the door to akusala and kusala, so that you lose akusala and kusala. And this virya is overcoming or removing akusala and kilesas. Not that abandoning what has already arisen, but just blocking the path closing the door by not allowing these things to rise in your stream of consciousness. Only when they are not given a chance to arise will you will be able to attain purity of mind and insight. So, exerting your energy to note every arising object, beginning with rising and falling. Thus, you are able to sustain your mindfulness. The noting mind will become fixed on the object, will become sustained on the object. Because the energy is driving or pushing your noting mind towards that object. Then this mindfulness sati will arise. Thus, closing the door to akusala and kusala, and opening the door to wholesomeness, skillfulness, which is sati. And by sustaining sati, you are deepening your concentration, samadhi. In this way, you are opening the door to wholesomeness, skillfulness, kusala, namely sati and samadhi, so that your mind becomes clear and serene, and you are able to develop faith. That is clear faith, because you are exerting energy. So the saddha arises in the form of clear faith. So just look at this point. Previously, initially, you are aiming with precision to note the object that gives rise to this factor of the path, sammasankappa meghinga, the path of right aim. And the way it becomes open to deepen your concentration. When you deepen your concentration, as much as you are able to concentrate your mind, you're bound to see things in their true nature. You're bound to see the sabhavas, the essential qualities. Such as when you are noting rising, your mind will fall on the stiffness, tension, movement, which are the sensations or the qualities of rising. And when you pay attention to falling, your mind will fall on the sabhavas, essential qualities, such as relaxation, movement, heat, cold, whatever. Same thing goes with other objects as they arise, and as you note, you are bound to see the essential qualities. Thus, the way becomes open to develop discriminating knowledge or wisdom. Thus, you are purifying your mind and developing your insight. You are developing these mental powers to develop the mind and insight. The way becomes open for such skillfulness. One by one, it happens, and you become uplifted. You are developing it, progressing by developing your mind and insight. They progress, such as bhavana. So, for that purpose, you apply energy to aim your noting mind towards the object, and in this way you are able to sustain your mindfulness. And such is bhavana. Hence the expression bhavanaya yodha payodha daya yogi. Because yogi is called as such, because he or she exerts energy, such as initial launching energy, the liberating energy to overcome laziness and difficulties, and the energy in stages to reach the goal. In order to, once you exert your energy, your way to akusala and unskillfulness is closed. You close the door to akusala. This means that they are not allowed to rise. They are not given opportunity. They are not given the chance. That is the meaning of it. So, closing the door to akusala has the nature of not allowing it to arise, not giving a chance to arise. and not accepting, even to a small extent. So for this you note every arising object with an alertness, awakeness, or diligence, vigilance, so as to close the door to akusala, closing the door to akusala, and not allowing kilesas to arise in the stream of consciousness. Instead, opening the door to kusala, skillfulness. With the application of energy, you sustain your mindfulness, thus deepening your energy, concentration. And initially you are aiming, taking an aim at the object to note it concurrently. And in this way, you are by stages progressing along the path, being able to discern mind and body. This is the noting mind, and this is the noted object. You are able to distinguish between the two, and the conditionality, that the cause and effect of relationship between mind and body, and the universal characteristics of impermanence and so on. You are closing the door to akusala and opening the door to kusala in this way, until you are able to reach the fleeting momentary nature of experience. Objects are fleeting away. At that time you are developing your mind and insight, and your mind and the power of your mind and insight is said to have become developed in an extraordinary manner, in an unusual manner. Seeing illuminations, experiencing rapture, calmness, and your faith and confidence will also increases by leaps and bounds, saying to yourself that this is correct, and oh, I have come to this practice very late, I should have come earlier. How nice would it be if I had come earlier? Such would be your thinking. So you have faith and the confidence, you have faith and confidence, saddha in Satipatthana practice, and also faith and confidence in the Buddha, which has preached, taught us the way of mindfulness, Satipatthana, and those teachers and individuals who have exhorted you or directed you to come to the practice. You feel gratitude towards these people. Such is saddha, faith and confidence. And initially the door is closed to akusala, and the door is open to kusala, so that you have clear faith that is developing your mind and insight. You come to acceptance and resolution that this is correct. When you come to that stage, this is confiding faith. You become confident, and this is the benefit of the practice, so that your saddha powers, the power of faith and confidence, will also increase. And as for viriya, we need not even elaborate on this point. It is already growing, developing to this pegahita viriya, as we have discussed, the kind of viriya which will not let things go down nor stagnate in the middle. Instead, it will lift up and up. So as you are able to develop and enhance your sati, at this stage your sati becomes what is known as upatita sati, very fixed and sustained mindfulness, the higher level of mindfulness. The sati is sustained on it, it is fixed on the object. As much as you are able, your viriya energy, the power energy has gone up, so is the power of sati. So that the noting mind will be will fall calm and collected on the object noted, instead of running away or flying away or distraction or become restless. Instead, you will be developing what is known as Khanika Samadhi, momentary concentration. That is concentration on the ever-arising object momentarily, and hence this name, momentary concentration, Khanika Samadhi, giving rise to insight. Now when it comes to this Upaṭṭhita Sati, sustained mindfulness, not only will you be able to note and know the presently arising object, but you will be remembering things things of the past, such as things which have happened in your youth, past life. Like they will all come back to you like a movie. This is true for those who are very good in mindfulness. And so is this samadhi, concentration, which will deepen. And when concentration deepens, you are able to see things in a very clear-cut manner. Clear-cut is analogized as when you are cutting with a sharp knife some fruit. Then they will be sliced in a clear-cut, in a clear manner, in a very sharp way, with a sharp knife. You must have experienced that. So just like that, there will be clear-cut observation of the objects, segment by segment, so that you will taste the flavor of the practice. And initially we have this initial launching energy, closing the door to akusala, opening the door to kusala. Then this initial energy, launching energy, gains momentum. Thus you are able to develop your mind and insight in a very unusual manner. Especially you will come to detest and fear kilesas entering your stream of consciousness by losing your mindfulness. You will detest and fear the loss of satipatthana, the diminishing of satipatthana practice, the going down of satipatthana practice in a very unusual manner. So with this power of hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, you will become more and more careful, you become more and more diligent and vigilant, and thus be able to develop your sila samadhi panya and gain momentum. And they will all these mental powers will march along like a regiment or a huge army. And in this way there will be a lot of this energy, and such as bhavana, uplifting and developing your mind and insight. Now in the beginning of the practice also the yogis have this objective, they have their motive of the practice. They should have and they should pay attention to this, that so accordingly, since they have that thing in their mind initially, that is the exertion, the thought of exerting your energy initially, accordingly you will become more and more alert and diligent. There will be more and more exertion of energy, and this will gain more and more momentum, and such is yogi by developing your mind and insight. Then hence this niyama, the fixed law, that is by applying this energy in three stages: the initial launching energy, the liberating energy, and the energy in stages, continuously without break, in order to develop your mind and insight. You become a yogi, not only by name, but the real dedicated yogi, be you whether you are monk or lady, you become real yogi. Even if one does not come to the end of the path as aimed by the yogi in the beginning, he or she will come to understand what is known as bhavana bala, the power of meditation. Previously, he or she might be indulging in what is known as patisankhara bala, reflective knowledge, reflective prajna, or the reason, the power of reflection, which is not the real knowledge, which is not the experiential knowledge, which is only by reflection. Without practice, one is just knowing through reflection, without practice. Now, with the real experience, empirical knowledge, with the practice, the yogi will come to understand the effect of this, of the power, of the quality of this bhavana bala. So, in the text is given this, previously, at this stage, the one comes to possess this bhavana bala because the reason is because of the practice of bojjhanga dhammas, the enlightenment factors, such as sati sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of mindfulness. So much so that yogi will esteem oneself, will hold oneself in high esteem, and knowing that he or she is not even missing even minute details. And as much as he or she does not miss the mindfulness, and there is this clear-cut discriminative knowledge. And initially there is this exertion of energy, and this effect of energy also will become evident in the yogi's mind at this stage. Hence this viriya sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of energy, will become very obvious. And there will be this satisfaction, piti, rapturous feeling of calmness, feeling of well-being, as though there's chills and thrills in your body, and then bobbing up and down, then feeling as though the permeating kind of rapture, like water, when you have the waterfalls, water oozes out of rocks. Like water oozing out of the rocks, so too your piti will ooze out of your body, permeates through the body. And in this way you have a good feeling and experience this Dhamma flavor, or Dhamma riti, Dhamma delight, which we discussed at one time. So at this stage your body and mind becomes calm and peaceful. There's a sense of well-being. The mind becomes calm and concentrated, calm and collected, with piti and passaddhi, rapture and calmness, tranquility. And there would also samadhi, sambojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of concentration. Now, before you reach that stage, there are two mental pairs which are not yet balanced, namely saddha and panya. Faith and wisdom are not yet balanced. So are this viriya and samadhi, energy and concentration. When your faith and wisdom are not balanced, what can happen? If there is excessive faith, then you will not be able to reason out. Your reasoning power will go down. You will lose your reasoning power because you become so faithful and confident. You become overconfident, I must say. And on the other hand, if the panya, wisdom, is in excess, you would reason out. You come to reason very much, too much reasoning, too much excuse, too much intellectualization. So that faith and wisdom or reason are not balanced, because they have to be balanced for your progress. And also this one pair of mental states, namely Viriya and Samadhi, energy and concentration, if they are not balanced, what will happen? When your Viriya, energy, is in excess, you become restless, you become distracted. You will know it through your own experience. If you apply too much of energy in noting, your mind will tend to distract. You become restless. And when your concentration is in excess, you tend to doze off and nodding until your head may hit the floor because of excess of this samadhi. So this Viriya and Samadhi have to be balanced in order to progress. So at this stage, that is the stage of Uddiyabhya Jnana, the knowledge of the rising and passing away of objects, or the fleeting nature of momentary experience, then such things, these two mental pairs will become balanced. They become balanced automatically. And among these, of all these mental powers, Viriya is the main. Namely, the three stages of Viriya. So this is the main thing. If you should have, you know already that if you are energetic, everything will succeed. Energy is the root of all success. That will be your motto. So these Bojjhanga enlightenment factors will happen at the stage of this Uddiyabhya Jnana. And then you will let to bhavana, let to understand this bhavana bala, the power of meditation, developing your mind and insight, and yogi will come to understand this, that my practice is after all progressing, and progressing in detail and progressing overall. What we have just discussed about the balancing of these two pairs of mental powers is very important. If the saddha and panya are not balanced, one cannot progress. Neither will one progress if the viriya and samadhi are not balanced. If one is in excess, then it's like when you are lifting a heavy burden by say more than one person. Then if one is weak, then the power of lifting energy will be unbalanced, so that it might drop off, or won't be able to be lifted to a required place. Only when the energy is balanced, then you'll be able to lift these things in a comfortable way, in a convenient way. Otherwise, you will not be able to undertake that job. So too with the saddha, and so too with when saddha is in excess. With saddha and panya, if saddha is in excess, of course saddha, faith and confidence will not be in excess in the beginning of the practice. Only when one reaches, in the course of the practice, one reaches the fleeting way of objects arising and passing away in a very fast manner, then one may think to oneself that, oh, this is quite it's wonderful, fantastic. I should have known it in the beginning, earlier on. And you want to talk to other people, you want to teach others, and so on. And because your saddha, faith and confidence, your confidence, faith is in excess. Faith in the Buddha, faith in the teachers, and so on. So when this faith is in excess, when you are too much confident or overconfident, you will fail to note the arising object. If you fail to note it, then you will fail to know the nature of the object. If you lose 1 minute, if you fail to note 1 minute, then you will fail to know 1 minute. There will be loss of panya or knowledge for 1 minute. That is because of the excessive faith, overconfidence. And your panya, the reasoning power, is in deficiency, is low. On the other hand, if the panya is in excess and sada is low, then there will be too much of reasoning and intellectualizing power. You will think a lot and reason a lot, and make even arguments, such as, knowledge can be cultivated not by thinking, even by thinking or reflecting. No need to undertake this practice. If you undertake the practice, excuse me, one will get tired. You have to exert energy. Now, without exerting, by reflecting, you can understand all these things. Such will be the reasoning power, reason, if the panya is in excess, and thinking that the reflective knowledge is the real one. And only when you practice, when you undertake the practice, you will see the essential qualities. That is, you will see the sabhava only through experience, personal experience. And instead of doing that, if you fail to do that, then you will be having too much excessive reason. Panya will be in excess. So you may think that by reflecting, bhavana can happen, and you did not practice. Thinking the wrong knowledge as the right one, you become dishonest. This is tantamount to dishonesty. Some yogis they tend to reflect. They think, they consider that reflective knowledge, reflection is a knowledge. Such as this Chidanupassana, mindfulness, this amounts to mindfulness of the mind. So this will be tantamount to dishonesty. The teachers give the good, right guidance, but they are going the wrong way, and with pride and conceit, one becomes dishonest. This is not real panya. This is just reflective panya, reflective power. So such a yogi will become weak, will not be able to accept that only with experiential knowledge one can cultivate insight. Only with one personal experience one can gain insight. It will be like a patient which is difficult, a chronic patient which is difficult to treat or cure because of the dishonesty. It's difficult to rectify or make one become honest and sincere. So if one comes into this realm of thinking and reflection, one will be cheating or deceiving oneself. There's something to talk about how to sharpen one's knowledge or wisdom, how to strengthen it, how to widen it, how to clarify it, and how to enhance it. And this will be discussed tomorrow. We come to conclusion for the day. Sadhu, sadhu.